All right, we're gonna do the first video on this, and this is one that this drives me nuts in a way that I can't even understand. And it's like the people the guys that engage in this, they're not dumb people. They're smart guys, but they're just hooked on this. So I'm gonna get into it. Okay, there is no such thing as overlanding when things go bad. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Let's say you got your truck. You got a Tacoma, you got a Tundra, whatever, F-150. I wouldn't even go in Central Park with those types of trucks, the new ones. Okay, let's say you got those things, you got to lift up, you got the beefy wheels, you got the B-lock, you got the whole thing going on, you got all the lights and all that stuff. Fucking thing is gonna get you like 18 miles per gallon. So at a certain point, you're gonna go off grid. You're gonna have to come back to the highway, and you're gonna have to deal with the interesting cast of characters at the gas station. There's just no way around it. It doesn't matter how much fuel you take with you. At a certain point, you're going to have to come off of the off-road and come back onto the road. That's one of the weird things about this, because a lot of people have this fancy, like, no, I'm gonna get in my truck and drive into the mountains. I know. What do you think you're gonna find in the mountain? Like a half a cheeseburger? Like, it's not the easiest thing. You would have to have something set up there a long time ago in order to drive there and have a cabin and have fuel stored and the whole thing. And if you had that idea of like off-road vehicle for using it back and forth, yeah, I would go something with a diesel. Why? Because you could store diesel. So one of your trips to your remote location would be storing diesel. Okay, okay, makes sense. But the traditional off the lot Tacoma, Tundra, Dodge that you lift up, you make it look mean in the mall. The reality is this: when you go off road, unless you're gonna get into BLM land, you're gonna go deep in the mountains, whatever, fuel is your biggest problem. I'm just telling you that fuel is gonna be one of your biggest problems. So one of the things I will tell you, if you're planning on using your vehicle to take a left on the highway and just basically go into the deep country to your bug out location, understand something: fuel. So you may want to have a vehicle for that, just specifically for that, and have diesel stored someplace so you can use it. But your day-to-day driver could be something like a freaking RAV4. Get your 40 mile MPG. That's more realistic, because believe it or not, when the nonsense goes down, you could anticipate being stuck in traffic with your monster vehicle loaded to the gills, and everybody's going to be looking at that vehicle. So one thing I can tell you, and there's a couple of example of this. Jesus, what I gotta call? Fieldcraft Survival just about a year or two ago did an experiment with that. How long could Mike stay off the road overlanding to get to an end destination? And even he came to you're talking about a former CAG guy. At the end of the day, you know, he's overlanded before they did they called it overlanding. You know, I've taken trucks and gone through freaking mountains and rebel territories and stuff like that. And let me tell you something. The reality is fuel. Fuel is a problem. That's what I'm trying to tell people right now. I don't care what you do to your truck, the lift. I don't care if you got Fox or, Bilstein shocks. I don't care what you did to it. I don't care what it is. Fuel. So when you're taking a look at a vehicle and you're like, yeah, that's going to be my off-road vehicle. Let me tell you something. The reality is you better start thinking about caching fuel. That's why for off-road vehicles, I much prefer something with the diesel, because diesel, who's ever going to think about going to an abandoned schoolyard where there's school buses that run on diesel and siphoning out of gas there? Nobody. So you got fuel. City vehicles have diesel. So nobody's going to look at that stuff. You come over, oh yeah, I got a couple of miles more, that kind of stuff. Tractors, things like that. At the end of the day, diesel, if you want to do shit hit the fan, off-road capability, long-term sustainment, whatever, you better be storing diesel, because couple of trips in gasoline, and as your vehicle gets older and less maintenance, you could probably get like 14 miles a gallon. That ain't gonna do no good. So there's your busting the overlanding myth. There you go.